Yo, I rode to paradise and struck gold and sabotage with niggas who hungry and no need.
First thing I want to ask you about is, how was your experience growing up in Chicago?
It's been a pretty cool experience. Nothing out of the ordinary. I spent a lot of time reading and writing. A lot of time outside, on my bike with my friends. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Evergreen Park?
Pretty much the same. I didn't really do too much. I'm pretty much a homebody.
Facts. Speaking of that, how was your quarantine?
Oh man, it's been interesting. It's had its ups and downs.
I'm also like a homebody. I feel like I kind of liked it in some ways, but after a couple months, I got bored. So.
Yeah, I think the first month was like really cool. I'm like, okay, this is like more my element. I like staying in the crib, so I'm like, okay, this is cool. After the first month, I'm just like, oh man, what is there to do next?
Yeah. So you just started making music like 4 or 5 years ago?
Man, it's been 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. 4 years. The first anything I actually put out was the cipher, the all women cipher. So that was like the very first piece of music I ever put out.
Who were some influences that you listened to coming up that kind of inspired you to start making music?
Oh, definitely Lauryn Hill. Huge Lauryn Hill fan. Jay-Z. I would say probably early on Tupac. Probably those solid. I was a huge TLC fan growing up, so those are like my solid core.
Your flows are super consistent, intricate. Are there any artists that you like studied like their flows when you were coming up that kind of like inspired you to experiment that way?
There wasn't any artist in particular, but growing up I did used to print out lyrics, from azlyrics.com to memorize songs. So I guess that was a form of studying. I just didn't know it then. But I spent a lot of time trying to memorize rap songs. They were my favorite songs.
You have like a very special ear for instrumentals. I've heard you rap on J Dilla beats, Guess Who's Back by Scarface and Jay-Z, Common beats. You seem to be very well versed in like knowing the history of hip hop. Is that something you spent time as a youngin' like learning yourself, or was there a family member that friend or a family member that put you onto that?
Oh, definitely. My dad. I got a lot of my early influences from my father. He was a huge Jay-Z fan. So he was probably like the first rapper. I'm just like, okay, I gotta look like through his whole discography and figure out all the songs that I really like. So yeah, definitely.
What made you decide to work with Loop Theory?
Oh, that was a very interesting how that came about. I first met Kenneth Disrupt, and he introduced me to Navarro. And after just spending time with him and talking to him and figuring out like the type of person he was, we were just like, okay, this is like seems like a smart move.
So you've opened up for like J-Rock and J Electronica. What does it feel like opening up for legends like that?
Surreal. Yeah. doesn't feel real at all. It's a very humbling experience.
Did you get to meet J Electronica?
Yeah.
What was that like?
His personality is very big. A very big personality. He's really, really funny. Very comical.
What's your favorite J Electronica song?
I don't really have one, honestly. I wasn't really like a big fan. I've listened to like some of his music, but not really. Didn't grow up being a fan or really get into his music like that.
True. You recently worked with a dope artist, Ashton Mallory. What made you decide to work?
Spazzy D. Yeah. So I heard his music about. It had to be about 3 or 4 years ago. He had put out the project The Nile, I believe. And I didn't know who he was. I think I seen this video go viral on the internet. And I'm like, yo, I gotta check this guy out. And he had reached out to me a few months ago. And I'm just like, oh, really small world. And so we decided to work together and put that latest song that we did out.
Speaking of going viral, I feel like every time you put out a freestyle video on Twitter or the internet, that shit goes up. How does that feel? Like, I swear, every time you put out a freestyle, it's like 100,000, 200,000 views.
It's nerve-wracking because I never really know how people are gonna like receive it, and so it's just like, okay, well, I try to make sure I like it first, and I usually send it to a few friends of mine and like, what do you think about this? And then I usually put it out.
True. Do you have a favorite song that you've made to date?
Oh yeah, it's a tie between Supplicate and the joint with Amber, the Everything I Need joint.
What about those two songs do you like compared to the rest of your catalog?
I don't know. Supplicate just sounds like really dope. The instrumental is crazy. Moczalla made that, and I really love his production. And the joint with Amber, it's my favorite because I'm a huge fan. So yeah, I was very excited to get that out.
Ro is really good at producing.
Oh, he's amazing.
Obviously you've met him. I feel like he's like a shadow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know him, like what he looks like if you run into him in public somewhere.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even know that's him. I met him once.
The first time I met him, I didn't know who he was because we had been talking on the internet and he didn't really have any pictures of himself up at the time. And so when I met him, I'm just like, oh, okay. You've been here this whole time.
So you said you're a reader. What's your favorite book and why?
Oh, okay. This is really good. As of recently, I would say that my favorite book would have to be Christine by Stephen King. I don't know, like it just pulled me in like the first few pages and I'm just like, okay, this is gonna be a dope read, and it really was. I really enjoyed the book.
Gotta check that out. You've said before in prior interviews, and you can kind of hear it in your music, but like family seems to be very, very important to you, and you stress that a lot. Can you just speak on that relationship you have with your family?
I don't know, like we're really close knit. I have a few brothers, a few sisters, and I don't know, we grow up really close, and I don't know, I just love them.
Where are you at in your siblings? Like, are you first? Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm the oldest.
True.
The oldest sibling.
True. You have 5?
Yeah.
True. I have 8. And I'm like right in the middle.
Yeah.
I always felt like being the oldest would kind of suck because like that's a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh man. And then my mom is in the process of adopting, so we have like additional siblings, and they're much younger. I want to say a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and one. He's about to be 1 in October.
True.
So the house is always full.
Fact. All right. So I asked this to every Chicago artist. So what do you think is missing, if anything, in Chicago's music community that isn't currently here that could be a valuable resource for upcoming artists to use?
I guess maybe I hear a lot of people saying how it's people aren't like really sharing resources like that with one another. I haven't really had that experience. I've been like really blessed. Like people have like reached out to me and like want to work. But I think that if we all just shared like what we have and like shared with other artists, it would make it so much easier.
Who are some Chicago artists that you want to work with in the future?
Ooh, there are a couple. Raven Lene being one of them. Huge fan. She actually went to the same grammar school as I went to. She was in the choir, and man, amazing, like amazing. I would love to work with her. And of course, Saba. I would definitely Saba. Mello. I'm also trying to get a song with him right now, so I'm getting that together.
So I've been listening to you for a few years now, but I feel like you haven't released a project. And I've watched your interviews from like last year and stuff like that, where you're like kind of say like, yeah, I think one's on the way, it might be coming later this year. But do you have a project in the works that we could expect like anytime in the near future?
Yeah. So I have one that's being mixed and mastered right now. We're planning on dropping it in the fall. We just finished doing some videos for it, and so I'm very excited about that.
True. Another thing I noticed, you only have one music video out so far.
Yeah.
Is that something you purposely did, or was it just like you just didn't get around to it?
No, like this is like been a very new experience for me as far as making music. The breakthrough video joint, I don't know, that happened so randomly. I didn't really expect to shoot it that fast, but I really didn't want to put any out until I was like finished with the project, and so yeah.
True. My last question I have for you that I ask everybody is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Definitely, probably a book writer. I want to do multiple things within art. So after I drop a few projects, maybe like have my own merch line, have a couple books out, yeah.